Hello, my friends. How are you today? I am still kind of getting ready. I was doing a little painting and then I lost a little bit of track of time. And then, anyway, so here we are. As always, I'm going to start off with talking about, sorry, it's kind of all crazy. Um, it's my little setup. But talking about the supplies we're using today, and I linked um, all of my links and also all of the coloring supplies that I use from Amazon. Some things may not be on there yet. If you look at the main page of my Amazon store, it will also link to coloring books and stuff. But so what we're doing today is we are coloring a page from, I meant to grab the book, from R.J. Hampson's A Frog's Tale, and it's one of my favorite coloring books. And I just think everything in here is so cute and colorable. And yeah, so this is the page that we voted on to color. Good morning, Angela. Before we started the color along, and it's called Tea Time. Also, we have a color swatch from my color swatch book, which you can find under my Amazon publications underneath the links. We're keeping track of the colors that we used. And finally, we're using the set of 300 colored pencils. So, yes, I also, have swatched all of them, and that is how we decide what colors we're going to use. So, if you were here last time, thank you for hanging out again. I'm glad to see you. If you are new to hanging out with me, this is a color along, which means you can color the same image as me, or you can color your own thing and just hang out with me while we color. And it's just a place to build community and get to know each other. And I hope that you maybe learn something. If you have any questions about what I'm doing as I'm doing it, be sure to comment and I will do my best to answer your questions. Anything else? I'm a little warm. I just got a shipment of 50 of my coloring books, and I was working on painting the display that I'm going to have in one of the shops that said that they would carry my coloring book. So I'm pretty excited about that. Okay, so I'm going to take my face off here, and we are going to get the coloring. So if anything weird is happening with the whole video thing, do let me know. I'm going to move this a little closer. I do apologize for the movement. I'm going to do my best not to get my hands in the way of the coloring, but let me know if you can't see anything or if you'd like me to get closer. I am happy to move things around. I have my lunch shake here, so I'm going to shake that. Apologize. Since this goes through my, lunchtime here, I have to start my lunch shake earlier than usual. All right, so when we left off last time, we were working on this cute little mushies. And so I'm going to go ahead. I found that even though I find keeping track of the colors used slightly tedious, it's good. It's a good thing to do. I hate it though, a little bit. But now it's like, even though I've done it like 3 times now, it's kind of compulsory. So now I can go back, look in my pencils, and find the colors I was using, which is super helpful, to be honest. I mean, if we want to go there, it kind of takes me a little bit of time to find the colors I was using because there's so many, like, I don't know, 300 colors is a little bit overkill, I think. Just a little bit. And I'm still finding that I'm often using still the same colors over and over again. Like, one of my blues is like already like really short. And I'm like, okay, there's other blues that look very close to this. I can use that one too. So, with the mushies, what I also like to do, I like to add a little bit of orange. So I'm going to grab the pumpkin yellow, which is also a color that I often choose to add highlights in red things. So, oh yeah, I said we're using the color pencils, right? We're using the 300 set, and we're keeping track by putting a swatch and writing down what color we're using. So I always make these little mushies red because they really, like, they can't be any other color in my world. They just can't. So I like to add this orange where I feel there would be some highlights. And I'm kind of doing each element in their own sort of layer. I don't know how to say that better. So in the foreground, we have this frame, right? It's going to have its own shadows, and I'm not going to really use that to make shadows on the other elements. Does that make sense? So the shadow, what would be the shadow from these leaves onto the mushies, I'm not going to do. I'm going to have the mushies are their own element. The froggy is his own element, even though he's kind of interacting. And then I'm going to say the house is its own element because it's further back. You know, it's in the background rather than the foreground. In the foreground, this is the foreground. This is further back. That's further back. Anyway, I'm doing them their own elements with their own sort of shadow making and everything. So hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. Because even though I've been arting a very long time, the words don't come to me a lot of the time. Thank you, ADHD and whatever else is wrong with me. So now we added some of that orange on, and we're going to try to keep that somewhat prevalent in the way that it acts as a highlight rather than like an individual color. I'm sorry, the words just don't work with me sometimes. I think when I was coloring this last time, I was using 241 mostly because that's the shadow color we chose. And so we're going to go kind of almost over everything to blend in the orange a little bit with the red, which is 008. You know, I didn't advertise this live as much as I have in other ones. So hopefully all of our regulars figure that out. And I always announce my lives on my Facebook page and then on the event itself. And it also, when I try to create a live, it makes its own event for it too. So it's a whole thing. I'm still kind of learning. It's a whole thing on Facebook, but you know. basically it's Friday, so do you guys have any plans this weekend? I don't have a lot. Last weekend we tried a local place that started doing taco, like some Mexican food. American Mexican food, not authentic or anything, but they have tacos and burritos and nachos and stuff. And I love Mexican food, even though it's not authentic. I love it all. But so last weekend we went to this place, and it happens to be one of the shops that are going to display my coloring books. And so I'm trying to decide. I kind of want to go there. Like, I want to make that a regular thing, like a weekly thing, to go and have tacos there and stuff. I had the tacos, and they were so good. They had such delicious pico de gallo on them, and oh, so good. I think cheddar, like plain cheddar cheese on tacos, is not like my absolute favorite, but it's okay. It doesn't ruin the taco. But they could use something different, like, the Mexican four cheese that Kraft makes, or I think a lot of brands make that, but I think that works the best. Or Colby Jack. Is Colby Jack the one that's orange and white? I think so. Maybe. I don't know. So I think I want to grab a little bit darker of a red. See if I can get a little bit deeper highlights in there. So we have 241. I'm going to grab 12 to see if we can get a little bit deeper shadows. I think I said highlights, but I meant shadows. So I decided to get an electric pencil sharpener. I've literally never had one for myself before. I'm struggling with a lot of my pencils having broken lead inside, and this can happen with like any pencil, so it's really not having to do with like the quality of the pencil itself. I mean, I live on an island, and things, they just get treated poorly on the way here. And so I understand that a lot of the leads may or will be broken. And so, yeah. So I'm going to try an electric sharpener. And we'll see how it goes. I hope it helps. I don't know how that's going to go for the lives. I wonder if it'll be super annoying or loud. We'll find out, I guess. As I'm coloring this, I'm thinking about, like, what color am I going to use for the underside of the mushy and for the stem? Usually I do some sort of off-whitish, yellowy color. Seems appropriate, but it always takes me a little bit to decide what color I'm going to use. So if you're here and hanging out, be sure to say hello. Let us know if you're coloring along in the same page or if you're coloring your own thing. My color alongs are mostly meant for community building. So it did get a little crazy, and I got a little bit of color in the leaves and then a little bit of color outside the lines. It's fine. I try not to worry about it too much. And then I got some color in the spots where I want it to be white. We'll see what happens. So we'll figure it out. It'll be fine. But that's just to let you know that I make a lot of oopsies actually when I'm coloring. Like I think last time I accidentally did this whole green. I don't think you can see it really, but there's a green line. Okay, so mushy tops red part is done. So I'm going to put these colors away. I'm trying to be good at this whole putting away because when I get really into coloring, I can have like 50 pencils out and then I'm always like knocking them around with my arms and stuff, and it's pretty annoying. So one thing that's nice about the color pencils is they have a really nice array of like sort of ivory, yellowy light colors. And so I think I'm going to go with like 244 seems like a good base color. So now I have to look for it. 244 is by 054 and 057. So I got this kind of peach color, and then I want to grab like maybe a little bit of an orangey peach. I think 055 will be nice. Yes. And then even a little darker. I want a brown. Oh no. Get like 293. Stay in this. I'll stay in this little group. So first, the base color we're going to use is Creamsicle, which is 244, and I'm going to go up here so that the three colors are next to each other. It's a little more peach than I want, but I think it'll be fine. Sharpen. Make sure I got a nice point. And I'm just going to color everywhere with it to give it a little layer, a base layer. I'm coloring very lightly. And I feel this base layer helps with like future blending of colors together for the next layers. So lately I have been gravitating towards, oops, I'm almost off the screen here, gravitating towards using other colored pencils and not just my Prismacolor pencils. And now this is like a huge thing in my opinion. So Prismacolor pencils are amazing. Like, don't get me wrong. But one thing that bugs me about them when coloring in coloring books is that because they're so creamy and opaque, they cover up the lines. And that can be beneficial depending on like what you're going for. But I find it a little bit annoying because to me, the lines are there for a purpose, and the purpose is so that you can see them, unless you want to make them go away, which is fine as well. But, okay, so this is Dusky Chocolate 293, and we're going to use this as a shadow color, and we might have to grab a little bit darker color too. Okay. Right, so you can, cover up the lines if that's your deal. If that's what you want to do, that's fine. But like, I'm finding that I like my lines to show, and that all the other pencils that I'm using and coming across, because I'm testing out a bunch of them, are translucent compared to the Prismacolor's opacity. And that is what makes Prismacolor unique. That's one of the elements. But I think it's more useful if you're going to like use or not necessarily more useful, but more interesting if you're going to use them on like a tinted paper, like gray or craft or whatever colored paper. It looks really cool when you, excuse me, my nose is a little stuffy. When you use them on that kind of paper. And I got some craft paper, so I've been actually thinking about printing some coloring pages on it and seeing like what we can come up with, but we're not there yet. This was the nude. I'm going to add in a little bit of color. Oops, I should have waited. It's a little bit orangey. 055. But anyway, so moral of the story is I've been gravitating towards other pencils than Prismacolor, and I'm actually kind of blown away by that fact. My last finished coloring page, I was using Colorista by Spectrum Noir, and I was like really, really happy with them, and they're really cheap. It's like 48 for $20 or so, and I thought they were super worth the price, and I'm gonna buy more sets for myself. I really enjoyed using them. And then also I'm gravitating towards my colors right now. I do have the Evazar, and I think I need to use them a little bit more, but right now I'm really enjoying other. Okay, so I do want something a little darker, so I'm gonna look here again. What did I pick? That was $2.93. So I think I'll pick $2.94 and see if that'll work. And of course, it's a pencil with broken lid. So we'll see if I can get this sharpened to a usable. If not, we'll go find a different. I keep meaning to go to my storage unit because I want to store my, oh yeah, it's still wiggly here. I want to store my finished coloring pages and look, oh gosh, I can't do that. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to use this. In a binder with, clear sheet protectors. And I thought that would be a great way so you could I could still flip through them and look at them if I wanted. And it will prevent the color of the page from transferring onto anything else for one, or onto another page. Or even smearing on itself. Okay. I think this is still gonna break, but I'm gonna got it to a reasonable point, and we're gonna use fairly hard pressure, and we're going to go in where those darker shadows would be. And of course, the light's not really gonna hit under the mushies, so we kind of just make them a little darker there. I probably should have advertised this more. I was trying out making the event the night prior, so more people could possibly see it, but I think maybe doing it how I was doing it was a good way, which was just a couple hours before. Ooh. My computer screen went black asleep. Was not ready for it to do that. Okay, and now I don't really like to keep track that I'm using white. I don't know why, just because it feels pointless to like put white in a square. But I'm going to go ahead and use the white to kind of like blend and lighten it up just a tinge. It may not work very well because of the way the colors are translucent, but I think it will work enough to blend the colors together a little bit better. And some people would use a blender pencil at this point. And maybe that's a smarter idea, but you know what? I'm not sure. I have them and I never use them. Because, like, I think I tried it once recently and I was like, this is not how I want it to look, and I just haven't tried them again. So pretty decently hard pressure, where sometimes doing little circles, but sometimes we'll do straight lines where we want the color to kind of move a little bit. I think that works nicely. We're almost done with these mushies. I think I'll probably grab I'm going to grab that darker red color and try to put some more shadow behind the little white dots, because they are 3D, not 2D. And then I'll be done, but I'll also later probably towards the end, if I remember, use maybe a white paint pen, or what did I say before? What number was it? Was it 12? Oh, the 241. Oh, I forgot to write it down. Oh, it was 12. Okay. Well, gotta put that down here. What was I saying? I don't remember. Oh, right. A white paint pen or gel pen to add some more white highlights to the spots where I accidentally like colored in where I wanted white, or using it for things that I want to look shiny, like maybe the berries. So I did press pretty hard earlier, so the color isn't really coming off super great for this, what we're doing right now, but I think it's doing an alright job. Yeah. Good enough. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to say those mushies are done. Take a sip of my shake. What do we want to do next? I've been gravitating towards a strawberry leaves, actually. I think that'll be fun. Now we need to decide. So what I'm going to do right now, sorry, my arm is in the way. But I'm going to share my screen. Sure, I'll just share the entire screen. And and we're going to go ahead and look up strawberry plant. And we're going to look at images to decide what kind of greens we'll be using. And I'm going to do, no. Nope. Sorry. Hold on. Hold, please. Oh, here we go. We'll do that for now. You can kind of see that here. Wait. I'm still struggling. I apologize. Hold on. We want to share just a window. We'll share the strawberries. There we go. Here we go. Here we go. So I really like to use reference images because I personally like to color things somewhat realistically. And so what we have here, we're looking at strawberries and the plant itself. So like the leaves. And I feel like these are pretty bright green. I'm going to go ahead and look mostly at this image here. Oh, I like that. Open image, new tab. Here we go. Here we go. Okay, so now we're looking at this image here to kind of decide what color we're going to be using for the strawberries. I like it. It's pretty. Okay, so now, oh my goodness, I gotta put these away before I get crazy. Before we get crazy here. Okay. Sorry. Where did this go? 2055 went 243. Was it here? Yep. Okay, I got that right. Nude. Oh wait, no, I didn't get that right. That's where this goes. And creamsicle 244. Oh, there it is. So for me, when I'm organizing my pencils, I always put the white and the black up front, just so like I don't ever have to really search for it. But that's just me. Okay, now I'm gonna look at these greens here. This was a different swatch thing that I was doing. So these greens are so nice. They're nice and bright. I think we're gonna go with 136 here. Looks like a really good basic green. 136. And for the highlights, I want one that's a little bit more yellowy. It looks like 133. And then we will get an even darker 116 for the darks. Okay. Now, first off, I'm going to take the highlight color which is 133. And when we first started coloring this page, we decided the light was coming from this direction. So just keep that in mind. I like to remind myself and you all, mostly me. I'm going to do kind of harder on the left side of the elements and then do a light layer towards the right side. And I'm holding the pencil at quite an angle because I don't want any harsh lines at this second. But the reason why I'm doing it harder is because this is the side I want the highlight color to be prevalent. And then this side is just for that light layer I was talking about before. And kind of repeat that on all the leaves where you feel excuse me, the light will be hitting the leaves. And I feel like this leaf would be kind of curving downward, so the light isn't really going to be touching as much at the bottom or like halfway down this left side. It'll mostly be touching like right there. And this one, a lot of it's not going to be touching, or the light isn't going to be touching really, but I think it would touch a little bit right here. Like it's coming up, this is closer to us, so it's like a little bump. So this would be hitting the light right about there. And then the rest, a light layer. Same with this. So this will be the light will be touching here on this side, and then light layer here, because this will be where we put the shadowy colors. Hi, hello. Be sure to say hello in the comments. If you're hanging out, we are coloring an image from R.J. Hampson's A Frog's Tale, and I'm talking about where we're picking shadows and lights as we color along. We are using this image of strawberry plant to kind of help us determine colors for how we're going to color the strawberry plant in the image. I really like using reference images. It helps me. So then same with this one. I think more light would be hitting this one here actually. So if you missed the spot where I was saying that we're coloring more with more pressure, where the light will be hitting more, because this is our highlight color. And then I always like to do a light layer of the highlight color everywhere for blending purposes. Someone asked me, oh my goodness, someone asked me how many layers do I usually do? And I was like, I cannot tell you. I have no idea. I just go until I can't anymore. Okay, so we still have these little elements here. And these ones you're going to have to look at a little bit closer to determine where the light's going to hit and where it's not going to. So here the light will hit. And then this one's probably not really going to get a lot of light, maybe on the very tips, but mostly it's going to be in the dark because it's going to shadow itself. And then same with this, except for because the strawberry is going to shadow the little strawberry tip or tops. kind of the same with all of them. There's not many that will show. Actually, none of them have a lot of light hitting. So then, same thing, we're going to do kind of hard pressure where light will hit the vine. And you don't have to color like this. This is a personal preference. I like coloring somewhat realistically. I feel like it gives it depth and character. But there's definitely no one right way to color. So then our light layer everywhere else. Okay. Now we're going to take, there are some places that I want really dark, so I'm going to go ahead and use the shadow color next, which is bottle green, which is 116. I don't remember if I said our highlight color was brilliant green 133. So keeping track like professionals. One thing I'm hoping for as we go on is that when we look closer at the other elements, like the vines for the raspberries, I think these are raspberries, because blackberries have like leaves with like 4 or 5 points or something, and raspberries have like the more like the single leaves. But I mean, they could be anything, but I think I'm going to go with raspberries. That the raspberry leaf colors will be different than the strawberry colors. That's my hope. So with our really dark color, we're going to go on the edge that the sun will not touch at all. And we're putting decently hard pressure because this will be kind of a harsh-ish shadow. And then you can do some lighter pressure elsewhere, but right on the edge of the elements. Oops, I forgot a little bit of light green here. What was I saying? I don't remember. Oh, right on the edge of each element will be pretty dark. And then, of course, right by the strawberry, it won't have light. So do let me know if what I'm saying is making sense, is helpful, is something you haven't thought about before or haven't learned about. I am trying to be as helpful as I can. I know these lives can be a little bit boring, maybe, but I'm trying to be educational. Oh, you know what I forgot? I forgot to put do not disturb on my phone. I'm going to do that really quick, which is going to move. Sorry, hold on. Okay, sorry about that. This way, like I've been noticing sometimes if I get like a phone call, it'll like change. It'll change like the Zoom, which is weird. I don't know why it would do that, but it happens. So put on my do not disturb. It's a habit I need to work on. I'm missing my regulars today. And conversation. Angela, are you here? You need to talk to me. feel like I'm talking to empty world. I know you're coloring, but still. So that's the shadows on the vines. And now we're going to go, and I don't think I'm going to press as hard because these are, leaves are kind of thin. So I'm looking at our little image here. Some of them have kind of dark edges. Okay, I'll do some dark edges, but I'm not going to do like a crazy, like maybe, I don't know. You'll see. Just watch. We'll find out. See what feels right. But then we got a little bit, do a little bit of shadow coming up with some light pressure. Then additionally, if you look at our reference image, the veins of the strawberries are darker. So we're going to go ahead and put some decent pressure on the veins that will definitely be in the shadow. So I think we'll do a little bit lighter pressure on the other veins. The veins of the leaf. I'm glad you're here, Angela. I'm just lonely. I think we should, you and I, Angela, or whoever else wants to join, but it might be just a her and I thing since she's the only one talking to me. But we should do more like a body color for this book. Like we should just have it be like one of those like on the side colorings in between other colorings, if that makes sense. But we color like the same page. What do you think? Because I literally want to color every single page. I'm not even joking. I was looking, have you seen his, he's got a newer release coming out. And I'm not as excited about it. Okay, so I know this whole leaf, side of this leaf is going to be in shade for sure. So I'm kind of giving a very light layer of our shadow color. And then a lot of this part, not a lot, but I'm going to do a little bit of the bottom part here. That will be for sure in shade. And I'm going to do this shadow just to the right of the center vein of the leaf. I know you're coloring along this time. Okay. So now we're on this leaf, and this leaf is going to have a little bit of shadow produced by this leaf that's in front of it. So we're going to go ahead and do a light bit of shadow here. And then this will for sure be in shadow, so we'll do some dark edges. Like so. And the veins. Haven't decided about the veins that are in the light yet. Oh yeah? Well, I'd like to know how you lay down your colors. I know you do yours kind of do you do this, I don't even know, like the burnishing kind of end bit, or no? Is that the word that I want to, yeah, I don't know. It is interesting how other people lay down. But you're also using different pencils. And I don't know how different the polychromos are compared to, obviously. I don't have any. I haven't used them before. Okay. Do you guys need me to zoom in more, or is this working okay for you? Please let me know. Okay, working on the shadow bits. I feel like with the colors pencils, I can't put down as many layers as other pencils. Maybe, I don't know. You know, they do say that they're oil pencils. I know, I wish I knew, like, inherently the difference between oil and wax, so I could be like, definitively, yeah, they're not BSing us, you know, because I feel like a lot of manufacturers out of China, they don't. I lived in South Korea, and I know for a fact in South Korea, they don't have the same sort of laws on products or copyright as they do here in the US. So I'm imagining that this is true also for China. I could be wrong. Do let me know. But it feels like maybe China, the manufacturers there, can make claims that may or may not be correct. Now, I don't know that for sure, but that's where my brain goes in wondering, like, are these. But that's what I did. Kind of. I did do a not a light layer where I wanted for sure the highlights to come through, and that's because I am forgetful. And I will get into a little mode, and then I'll accidentally color over where I want the highlights to go. And I don't think I could say for sure I do the same thing the same way. I do something the same way every time. But for I've noticed for the colors is sometimes they can be difficult to layer, and so if I want it super dark or super light, I need to put those down kind of first in a meaningful way, if that makes sense. Hello, hello, welcome. Please say hello if you are just joining us. Oh yeah, so I don't know how to inherently like tell the difference between an oil pencil or a wax pencil besides what they tell you on the package. Okay, so this, well, I'm imagining this strawberry is actually not really close to this leaf. So I think like if I did a shadow of the strawberry, it would be kind of further back like this. Oops. But maybe that's not right either. It'll be fine. Then this a little bit, but it's mostly in the light. I feel this. We're at almost an hour into this live, and I'm just constantly surprised at the length of time it takes me to color something. I don't know if that sounds silly, because like I think it's just because I'm paying attention. I don't want to go longer than 2 hours because that just seems like a really long time. And also, it's just interesting. I don't remember where I was going with that, but it just seems like it takes much longer for me to color than I think in my head, because um, time blindness, probably. That's probably why, because I get hyper focused, and time flies when you're having fun and all that. And so I feel like I never know what's going on. But yeah. Okay, so I'm going to take my mid color, which is leaf green. How fitting, 136. Oh, so I have some new color pencils coming. I decided to help. My purpose in trying out other color pencils is, as someone who is experienced ish in coloring slash art, I have my preference on what I use, and I typically use, my Prismacolor pencils. And now those are artist grade pencils, in which they're good if you are selling your art or whatever, because they are light fast, which means they last and not fade as fast as other pencils that aren't light fast and they do all this testing and everything. But I understand that not everyone wants to or can afford something like Prismacolor pencils, and that's okay. So, especially for coloring, I don't feel that you necessarily need to have those artist quality pencils. And even though they are still awesome pencils, I want to try pencils for myself so I can confidently say, I like these ones and I feel they do a decent job, and give you a suggestion maybe on other pencils that are more in your budget. That's my thing. And so I'm excited to try these two other pencils I have coming in, which are the Amazon brand. Finally, they had the 72 set come up in stock. I think they're $20. And then I am trying also the Prismacolor Scholars, which I think they were closer to $30 for 60. So I'm really curious to feel the difference between the Prismacolor Scholars and the Prismacolor Premiers. My understanding is that they don't use the same sort of pigments. Like, a lot of the professional colors will use not artificial pigments, and then the student grade, which is the scholar pencils, will use more artificial ingredients and more filler. And filler, I don't exactly know what that means, but probably like the bulk of whatever makes up the pencil lead. So I'm just really curious to see the difference. I wonder if they are as opaque or not. And anyway, it's a whole thing. So I'm taking the main leaf color, which is leaf green, 136. And I'm going over spots where I want this color to show up. And I'm going over the colors we already put down a little bit. to do a little beginning of a blend. But I always do multiple very light layers, like maybe it's even hard for you guys to see. You think the Amazon Basics will surprise me? Do you think they're similar to any of the pencils I have? So I have the Arteza, which I don't like. So if they'll be like them, I'll be really upset. And then, I have the Evazar, the Prismacolor, and then the Colorista, which I don't think you've tried. And then the Colors. Are they sort of in their own category, I guess is where I was going with that question. So something also, I was just thinking in my head, I feel that observation makes an excellent artist. So if you practice your observation skills, you will, your skill will get better in your art. So why do I say that? I say that because as I'm coloring these leaves, I'm looking at our what did I call this again? Reference image. And so basically, I don't think I needed that far. Look at how this leaf is. Each segment between the veins of the leaf is concave. So it's a little bump. And the light is showing on one side and not show, and the shadow is on the other. And then it's a dark line at this particular vein. You can see it's a light line here, but since our image has dark lines, I keep them dark myself. And so like that is the power of observation. When you really look at something, you can see the differences in how maybe just our brains will draw something. Like maybe without the experience of observation, our brains will want to just make this a solid color, right? Just a solid green, rather than the multiple color greens. Like we have that light green, we have almost a white-ish. If we want to make it really shiny leaf, we'll add white here, on these highlights. And then we have dark greens, for the shadows. And that's what gives an image its depth, if that makes sense. And that's how we can bring our art of observation, or our skill of observation, into something as simple as a coloring page. And that makes it feel a little more alive. So I was thinking about that as I was kind of coloring darker on one side of each segment, because as I notice in that reference image, one side they are, and I'm making a little bloop bloop, they are 3D, they're not just flat. I hope these words are helping and not sounding bad. Well, Angela says she'll let me get the pencils and decide for myself. Fine, great. I will then. I'm excited. I really am enjoying trying out new pencils and seeing like what my preference is. because I think I've told a lot of you, if you're not here, sorry for repeating the whole story, but I've been using Prismacolors basically my whole life. And I say that because when I was younger, my aunt worked for school district or whatever, and we would go to the conferences, and my cousin and I and my dad would walk around all the vendors, and we would get all kinds of things like little paper pads and pens and pencils with, the brand name things, all these little marketing objects, which I didn't even know, until I was a grown up. Like, what? This was amazing. This probably started my paper obsession. And my dad started dating a gal who was representing Prismacolor pencils. And I got lucky, and I think she gave me a 36 set. And I loved them. From then on, I've been like a Prismacolor gal. But I'm having a lot of fun trying different ones. And at first, I found it a little bit hard to have an open mind because I used Prismacolor for so long. My first set of non-Prismacolor pencils were actually these Color pencils, and I didn't like them. And I think that was the lack of open-mindedness, and because they hurt my hand. But I think that was how I was using them at the time, which was swatching 300 color pencils multiple times, trying to put them in an order that makes sense, because they do not come in an order that makes any sense at all. And yeah, so I was pressing hard a lot, and basically I think that's what hurt my hand. And I had these 3 fingers were numb for like a week. And I was like, oh, shiitake mushrooms, like I'm gonna have carpal tunnel. I'm not gonna be able to. I'm gonna have to teach myself how to use my left hand. And anyway, I was kind of freaking out, and so like I didn't touch them for a little while. So I've had these for a couple months now. I don't know how long exactly, but and now I keep coming back to them, actually, because I find the colors refreshing. And 150 is what the Prismacolor set has, and that is a lot, and that really is more than you need. 300 is way more than you need, and I guess a Brute Ferner, they sell 500, and I think that's just ridiculous, but for some reason I want them anyway. But I'm trying to hold back on that, okay? Because I don't, who needs that many pencils? Nobody. But I want them. But I'm holding back. I like this set. I think it's nice. 300. It's more than enough. But anyway, so I found the 300 set kind of overwhelming. I never had that many pencils before, and I had never even had the 150 set of Prismacolors before. And so it's kind of cool. I mostly did a lot of blending and mixing colors to make the color that I was going for, which is really easy to do with the Prismacolors. So I never really felt like I needed the 150 set. I think the most I ever had was the 72 set. And then I purchased some other colors that I wanted whenever I wanted them, which was a lot easier when I lived not on a tiny island with only one art store, which I don't even think they sell Prismacolor pencils. So that's a whole another thing. But I used to be able to go to like Michael's and buy a color that I wanted. That is one big benefit of these larger brand name pencils, is you can buy one color at a time. I've been thinking about how I've been using these pencils, and because the lead breaks so often for me due to shipping and whatever else is beyond my control, and my clumsy ass dropping them on my tile floor, I'm like, what am I going to do when I run out of my favorite color, blue? Oh, I'm going to be so upset. And I'm going to have to ask, does this blue come in a smaller set? Because I really don't feel like I need to buy another 300 set. So I don't know. It's a whole thing. It's really kind of a conundrum, which is why I like the Colorista pencils, because they come in like flavors of 12. So a box of 12, and each box is kind of a set. So there's like bright and vibrant, or bright and vivid. There's a landscape, so it has like greens and stuff. And then there's like a portrait one, so it has for light skin and dark skin tones. And then there's a floral one, so there's a lot of reds and pinks and purplies. And I'm excited for that, for when, because I'm already really low on one of the blues because I used so much of it in my last image that I finished. And I'm like, oh, well, at least, I can just buy one box of this small set, for $5 or however much it's going to be, whatever, worth it, instead of buying a whole set of 48. I just rambled a lot. Angela said she wanted to get the 500 set so bad, and then she got the Color 300, and it's way overwhelming. Yeah. I mean, I have a desire because that's how I am as a person, is I have one thing, I want them all a little bit, and I do that a lot, but I'm going to hold off as best I can, because like I don't. So these Color set of 300 right now, they're on sale for like $55 on Amazon. And then I think there's even a coupon. And if available, if you can get them on subscribe and save, you even get a percentage off, sometimes for 300. But I think the Brute Furners 500 is over $100. And if they're the same quality as these, I'm not sure. I'm not sure they're worth that. And like, what kind of color difference is there going to be? I'm like, how many other colors can you put in a pencil set and not have 90% of them look the same? That's in my own brain. I'm not saying anything bad. My brain just can't wrap itself around it. Around the idea of that. And so I'm struggling. Okay, that's just the thing. My brain is doing this to me. And I guess that's like another reason why I want them. It's because I don't understand how they can have so many pencils and not have a lot of them be really similar. Although that would also be a benefit, because like I said before, I'm running out of some of my favorite colors already, and that's a thing. Yeah. So I'm running out of my favorite colors, and so it's nice that maybe the color right next to it is going to be so similar that I won't really notice it's not the same color, if you know what I mean. Does that make sense? I think it makes sense. I'm trying. Getting a little overzealous on this here. I might have to grab another dark green. I'm going to grab the 273 because I feel like I did this a little bit dark, because I got to talking and then I got, I don't know, excited, and I was coloring faster. And yeah. So just to give it some more depth. Oh. And I know a lot of you don't color this way, and that is totally acceptable too. You can color them all one color or add depth or not. All of that is perfectly okay. There's no one right way to color. It's whatever makes you happy. And what makes me happy is something that makes the time go by fast where I forget to look at the clock. I love that. And that is what drawing and coloring does for me as a person. Okay. Okay, I want to go back to the regular color. Oh, I better write this down before I forget. Pewter green for extra dark. I think that's the darkest green we have without going black. 273. Okay, so now we go back to the regular leaf green. The strawberries are so freaking cute. I just love them. Makes me want to make a coloring book with strawberries. Speaking of coloring books, I upped my price on my coloring book to what was suggested to me, and I'm really nervous about it. And yeah, I did. Oh, but also, speaking of my coloring book, if you haven't had a moment to write a review, it would be really awesome if you had my coloring book and you wrote a review. Reviews are what makes Amazon go round, and it'd be very helpful if you haven't had a chance to yet and you got it. So now that I got 50 of my coloring books here in my living room, and I'm gonna have to now buck up and go to some other stores on this side of the island. I went to the west side of the island and asked around a couple weeks ago, and now I have to go be on this side of the island and ask around at stores if they would like to carry my coloring book or not. And this kind of freaks me out. I think I'm going to take the time to maybe print out a very simple calling card, basically. So what I was doing was I was taking my coloring book, and if the person who couldn't make decisions wasn't there, or if they were, I would just give them one copy of my coloring book, and then I would write on a piece of paper my name and number for them to get back to me. And that seemed to work out nicely. It doesn't cost me a whole lot to do something like that, but I think it would be better if I had some of that printed off already and not having to ask to borrow a piece of paper or whatever. I did have paper on me, but you know what I mean. So I'm going to be a little bit more prepared for that and print up some and cut them out myself and put them in the coloring book. Okay, we're getting very close to being done with this this element. And I'm kind of going over where we put the highlight green with the main green color, just to make it stand out just slightly less. Now I'm going to go back. Well, it seems silly to go back, but this is the whole process, okay? I'm going to go back, and this will kind of act as kind of like blending the colors together. So we're going to go here, we're using kind of medium pressure at the moment, and we're kind of pulling the darker color and pushing the lighter color into each other, if that makes sense. Maybe not. And I did leave a little bit of white. I mean, you can't really see white necessarily, but I didn't push very hard. Like you can see how it's light right there. So those little bits of light will take this highlight color and they'll mix together a little bit. I see I'm gonna have to put some more of the leaf green in this if I'm able to. If I didn't push on the paper too much. Hey Jenna, how are you? Did you finish your other page so you could start this one? I guess my next color along should probably be out of my coloring book. Just thinking about that randomly. It's a June's color along. Should be out of my Caribbean Sea Life coloring book. Probably would be smart. Okay, I'm gonna grab the leaf green and I'm gonna put some to give it some depth here if I can. You'll probably start tomorrow. Right on. That'll be exciting. You'll have all weekend to catch up to where we leave off today. And most of Monday, since you're 6 hours or whatever ahead of me, 6 or 7 hours or something. So we are at 12:25. It's taken an hour and a half to color just a strawberry plant and finish off the mushies. I'm really excited to see how other people color this. I know we've had one person finish already, and I was just like, oh my goodness, I cannot believe that you finished. But they don't do as many layers or anything, so. And that's fine too, but I was just like, still, it might take forever. I'm going to grab the leaf green, and I noticed some white marks over here, so I'm going to go ahead and just fill them in with the leaf green, which is like the green of the leaf, because I don't think I want them. I want this one to be a little darker actually here. So I'm going to grab back to the pewter. No, I don't need that dark. I want the bottle green 116. Ooh, Jenna's thinking about doing the base layer with markers. Do you have alcohol markers? I've never used them. I I don't even own alcohol markers, or we use water-based markers. I am kind of at a place where I do not want to buy coloring books unless like I really love them, right? I don't want to buy coloring books that are double-sided pages. I just feel like that's not, I mean, unless it's like so quality of paper where like nothing's gonna bleed through, which doesn't super exist, but you know what I mean? Like I don't want to buy coloring books that are double-sided. But I could always, copy the image and put it on whatever paper I prefer, of course, to make it one-sided. I don't know. Seems like a lot of work. Okay. Now I want to make sure I go over where we got all the vines going on with the leaf green. Gosh, it's so cute. Can't even handle it. You have all the ooh alcohol markers, except the newest set, Touch New markers. I haven't heard that. You like the double-sided books because they look pretty when all done. Yeah, I think I really prefer being able to pull the image out of the book. I think that's what I decided I like right now. And so then I can put them in binders with the clear page protectors in them. And I could even put, 2 images back to back. And so then flipping them will be like a double-sided book. Right here, missed this guy. I notice a lot when I'm finished with my coloring page that I missed areas, and I hate when I do that. I get a little carried away sometimes. Okay. So that's so cute. I love it. Okay. Put the greens away. Better look at this. I think my pewter green goes here. Next is this. Next is my leaf. And then we got this. So now we finished the strawberries. And I'll look around, make sure I don't have any more strawberry leaves. And I'm going to say the strawberry leaves are the ones with the bloop, bloop, bloop curl, the scalloped edges. I want to go like this, kind of. I really want to color a raspberry. So now we're going to look up some raspberry plants. Oh my god, raspberry. Yeah. Oh yeah, so if you notice from the strawberry plant to the raspberry plant, some of these images show more of a blue-green. Oops. That's not what I meant to do. So like a blue-green color rather than just the brighter green that we used on the strawberry. So that will look neat. So what we need now, I need to see a closer image of a raspberry. Here we go. Ooh, this one, actually. I'm stuck between that one and that one. We'll do this. Okay. So now we can see how raspberries are colored. It's pretty nice. I think there's even, well, I do know I gotta plug my computer in. Hold on. We only got a half hour left today. So we'll, oops, sorry. Block the camera. Plugging the computer in. Okay, so we're looking at raspberries. And we're going to look at our colors here. And I see already I'm drawn to 118 and 13, or 018 and 013 immediately, which is burnt britch, whatever that is, red. And 18 is maroon, or their maroon. And then we need some brighter, like this bright color here. I'm leaning towards like 20 or 7 or 5 or both. 7 and 5. I'll grab both 7 and 5. 7, 5. Yes. And we got the dark for the shadows. Is there any other color I feel like I need? I'm looking at like this section here, because these are a little bit more like pinkish. There's some pinkish. I'm gonna grab 3. That's 2. 3. Okay. Let's see, that's done. I'm gonna grab white just in case I feel like I need it. And I'm gonna work on a raspberry or all of them, because they all have these sort of pointy leaves that blackberries don't. See how these are like individual leaves. And then I'll just show for comparison, and this is why I didn't choose blackberry. Oh, well, never mind. I was thinking that instead of individual leaves, these were connected like a grape leaf. Okay, I was totally wrong. But I think raspberries will be more fun anyway. And it will look more cohesive, I think, because these are red and these will be like reddish, whatever color raspberries are, that color that we see. Marooner. Then we can go kind of a something, maybe yellowy. Those need to be bluebells, I think. I surprised myself by being wrong about the raspberry leaves. They're very close to the same. It looks like the raspberries have sets of 3 rather than sets of 5 like the blackberry ones. Yes, I'll go with that. We're sticking with raspberry. Okay. Because I don't want to do green right now. I want to work on fun color. So let's see. The lightest color we're working with, aside from white, Is it 5? I still don't think I have all the right colors that I want, to be honest. Let me look. Hold. This dusty kind of colors might be cool, like 262, or maybe 21. No, seems wrong. I'm gonna pull out 21. Okay, we're gonna say that's the thing that's happening. So I got 21. Peach Puff. And I'm gonna put that. It's not like as white light as I want it to be. So I'm not gonna color it hard all the way. And I'm going to determine, like, maybe a couple of these are not ripe all the way. Like the really ripe ones are gonna be the darker ones. And then this one's gonna be like not as ripe here. So I'm gonna pick maybe a couple of them, 2 or 3. Benjamin, do you want on your shelf? I feel like he's gonna jump up here and scare me. Come here. That's fine. He decided to run away instead. So I'm gonna pick this one. I'm gonna sharpen this to be not quite as ripe, I think, because it's further away. So we're gonna do very light around each little berry bit. And this kind of can work for all of them, this particular dusty. So I'm going to go ahead and do all of them. Just on the very side that may see the light. And I'm doing it light enough to where it won't matter if I color over it, it won't show. Like for the side that'll actually be dark. I should actually like think about that anyway. So just really lightly. This is mostly to remind myself what I'm thinking in my head of how something will look. I'm hearing all kinds of crazy noises right now. Oh, I finished my shake. That always makes me sad. Shake's so good. Okay. My feet are cold. So if you're just joining us, be sure to say hello in the chat. I'm live on Facebook and YouTube right now. I've got one person over on YouTube hanging out. I got a friend here on Facebook hanging out, Angela and Jenna, and we're having a nice time. Okay, so this was my lightest pink color. Oops, I forgot to put 21. Then what I really want to do is remind myself what I was doing with this. Did I grab 7? Yes, okay. With this, I wanted the not so ripe berry. And I was going to make that one a not so ripe berry like that one on the bottom left there. So we're going to lightly color in all of the little berry bits. These, I am 100% sure, have like a real name, and I cannot think. Do you think that each individual like ball thing of the raspberry is one berry, and we just say the whole thing makes up the whole berry? Yeah. Okay, and I'm going to say this one is not going to be a fully ripe one because it's so small. And then we'll do this one that's far away too. because your least ripe ones will be on the end, or new berries, like this one would be a new berry because it's so tiny. And this one's on the very end. This one's on the very end. Okay. So with this is 07. I kind of want to go for what we're going to use for its shadow, which I feel I picked a little bit of a wrong color, because this is 07. Did I pick 19? I think 19 will be nice. I will find it someday. Did I pull it out? Where's 19? 1904. Where's the old one? Going. Oh, there it is. Okay, 19. 19 for the light berry shadow. Would be cute. I'm gonna want this pretty sharp. So we can really get in these little elements between the little berry bits and on the very edge. This one will probably be darker. There. It's one nice thing about the colors is they don't lose their point super easily. So they make detail work a lot more enjoyable. I mean, I can make it work with the Prismacolors, but sometimes it's really not as fun. I've gone on all kinds of different ramblings today. Anything else you guys want me to ramble about? Want my opinion on? Happy to share, maybe. Let's keep it art related. Or funny related. Just not like politically related. How about that? Or religiously related. These are looking great. Okay, so I got the 07, I got the 21. I'm going to go ahead with the 21 again, and I'm going to press a little harder on the edges that the light will be hitting. And some of them may not get light if you look really close and make decisions. I always use so many colors. It's probably what takes me a bajillion years to do any of this. That's what makes it fun, though. I was hoping that this would be an image that wouldn't take as long as other images are taking, but at this moment, I don't know. So I'm taking the deep pink 007, and we're going in the center of these berry bits. where it's just the berry color, not where the shadow is hitting, not where the light is hitting. Color over those a little bit for a blending effect, but not too much. So I'm just doing kind of like a medium pressure because we weren't able to do very many layers because this is such a small element. I feel it's a little bit more difficult. Oh, that looks great. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead with the 19 once more and hit some places with our shadow color again, just to make sure I didn't, because I see some white bits and I think it'll be nice to make sure those white bits are gone and our shadow color is apparent. Then I can see a couple of spots on this one. Gotta add the highlight color again. Okay, so those are the not ripey berries. So now we're gonna go with the more ripe berries. And put these to the side, although we will probably use some of them again. So I'll just put them back. Okay, my fingers hurt, or my thumb rather. So I'm gonna take the 05, and this is bright red apparently, but it's more pink. It's one of my favorites. It's already kind of short. And I'm gonna lightly color in all of the little berry bits here. And try not to go over where we already put a little bit of highlight color, but not a huge deal. I might just highlight it. No, I'm not ready for that. So these all will be definitely darker than those 3 we already completed. Especially this one. This one looks nice and juicy. And maybe that one. Excuse me. Okay, so I want to take my darkest dark. Oop, you know what? I forgot to. This one's 005. My darkest dark, and we're going to go ahead and fill in these little. Have it a little bit sharpened more. It looks sharp, but it's not sharp enough. We got 10 more minutes left. I think we'll be able to finish these berries. So I'm taking the darkest dark. I'm filling in these little bits between the berry bits. Because those are like, inset, so they'll be definitely darker spots. Okay. I'm going to go a little bit where the berries might overlap each other a little. And then on the very edge. I forgot this berry. Somehow it just blended in with everything else. Okay. So on the very edges where they overlap a little bit, give it depth. And by edges, I mean the very right edge where the shadow would be darkest. Did that there, I think, already. So if you are in the video now and hanging out and you're like, man, this is kind of slow, on YouTube, you can adjust the speed when this is all done and over with. You can adjust the speed to up to 2 times. I cannot guarantee if you'll be able to understand what I'm saying at that speed, but you'll see what I'm doing in a faster manner. So then, I know I grabbed 019 for, oh, you know what, I forgot again. Did I just use this? 13, my darkest dark? Gosh, I need like something that tells me to write down these things as I'm using them. Okay. So I think all the other ones I have, aside from this one and this one, they are lighter colors. So I'm going to go ahead and take this Scarlet, which is 019, which we wrote down already, and I'm going to decide that this berry is really ripe. We're going to go ahead and color these in more so. I'm going to leave those ones less colored. On the top, this one's going to be a riper one. And this one will be a riper one, I think. Right. 1, 2. Only 2? I only did 2? Okay. Well then, I want to do this one. Yeah, we'll do these two as, no, we'll do this one. Okay. Riper ones. I like to do things in sets of 3s, although, or 3 or uneven numbers, but there is, will be, never mind, 2 of the last medium ripe, I guess. Take a sip of water. Okay, so now I want to grab, I got 18 for our other dark color. And because we're doing some that are like not as ripe as others, that's why the raspberries are going to have such a vast array of colors. So I'm going to take this and go just above where we made the darkest dark marks and on the very edge of like these ones that the light will be hitting. Oh, that's not one that I wanted. That, darn it. Okay, it's fine. We'll make it work. Okay. Okay. Now with these darker ones, we want to use a lighter color, which I think we may have already used. 5. Did we do 21? Yeah, that was the lightest. And we did 7. I think 5. Did we do 3? Can't remember what 3 looks like. I'm looking at my chart here. Ooh, that one might work. Okay, I'm going to use 3, I think. I might cross it off. Okay, yeah. I'm going to use 3. Mostly. Okay, no, I lied. Okay, I keep saying things, and I keep changing my mind. I do want to use this, but first I want to take 5 and do the lightest part of the most ripe raspberries. So we'll do the very edge here. On some of them, medium pressure, not hard enough to break the lid or anything, but and this was dark. So if you're coloring this, did you decide to make all the berries exactly the same, or did you decide to do something like I'm doing and be crazy and make them different? Okay, so I've got this pastel pink, and this is, I think, going to be the final layer. And I think I'm going to go kind of over all of the dark berries and kind of blend together the colors a little bit. And this is medium pressure, I think. And make sure I go over all the little white bits that are kind of standing out. Oh, keep coloring that. So these ones are supposed to be the ripey ripes. I may have to try and go in darker on this edge here. We'll see. And we're definitely going to go over a little bit on time here. So if you have to go, I understand, but I'm definitely going to finish these last 2 berries as we're here. And I'm going to grab the dark, the 13, and I'm going to go ahead and try to get more dark on the edge where the light won't touch. Okay, so finally we have the mid-range. My hand, stretching my hand. Mid-range. So I'm going to go ahead and we'll use 21 as the highlight color for sure. I'm just going to go ahead and do that with decent pressure so it doesn't color over it much when we do. Use the other colors. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I wanted to make sure I had them all marked down here. So we use that. Our mid color. Do we want to do 5? I kind of want to use 5. It's only a little bit darker than 21, but I'm going to do like a lighter pressure so that it is an additional color rather than like a blending color that we blend with the next color. How about that? Rather than a color that overtakes. Okay. Then I think we're going to go a little darker than 19. We're going to go with 18 here. We're going to go on the berry edges here, where the shadow would hit. I gotta sharpen this again. It's gonna break, I think. Then the color we'll use, I think we'll use 19 as the sort of like main berry color. So we'll use this as our kind of blending bit. Hopefully it's a little bit lighter. Looks a little bit. I did that one a little bit dark, but this one will look good. It's our little blending color. And voila! Did I miss any of the raspberries? I don't think so. So, I'm very pleased with this so far. I hope you guys enjoyed. Sorry about my arm. I'm just like making this a little bigger. And we'll remove that for now. So we'll take a closer look at this. So I like how the berries turned out. I think they definitely look like raspberries. I wish I could, I might grab my Prismacolor pencil let me just put this back on. So if you notice, where's my raspberries? If you notice how like these kind of look powdery, does that make sense? There's like a bloom or something on them. I haven't decided yet. I'll decide, someday. I might go and just do a little light layer of the Prismacolor white because of the way the Prismacolor white works. It might work out real well, but I'll think on that, and I won't do it without you guys, I promise. So we're getting there, and I think it's looking good. We'll continue working on the raspberry plants next time. We'll do the greenery, kind of like, I like to try and finish an element at a time. And that way, I don't have to like keep pulling out pencils and stuff, if that makes sense. Yeah, I think it does. And I've been thinking about colors, what colors we'll use in the future. Definitely going to do Be Like a Bee. They're like a honey yellow and a dark, they're not black. They're like a really dark brown. And then this has to be a sunflower. It has to be. And I don't know where else I'm going to pull in yellow. Maybe we'll work on the butterfly, but kind of looks more like a moth. I still haven't decided what kind of bird we're going to do. Maybe this will be a yellow or maybe it'll be a purple. But I still am on I'm not sure. I'm not on the fence, but I feel that if you make things look realistically colored, they naturally kind of look good together. So that's where I'm going with this anyway. And if you do it different, that's totally okay. And I can't wait to see it. So if you haven't yet, I'm going to link all of my links, and you can connect with me all over the internet here. My Facebook group, I would love for you to join. Please don't is linked on there. Please don't forget to answer the join questions. And that's just to make sure you're not a crazy, okay? So don't forget that. But I'd love to have you there. It's a small group. There's about 25 people in there right now. And it's slowly but surely growing. And only nice people are allowed. So, anyway, I'm going to hang up the live now. And I'm so glad you guys had a chance to hang out with me. And I will see you live again on Monday. Bye. I'm still, one more thing. I'm trying to do around 11 a.m. Eastern. Okay? That's my goal. Anyway, may have to change depending on appointments or whatever is going on. But okay. All right. I will see you next time. Bye.